What's up, everybody? So for today's video, we're going to be checking out The Last of Us Season 1 review. Yeah, man, I just want to check this out. I don't know if it's going to be a spoiler review, so we're going to check that out right now. And 3, 2, 1, boom.
If you don't think there's hope for the world, why bother going on?
The best adaptations don't just imitate their source material, but aim to enrich for those familiar with it while also acting as an entry point for those who aren't. HBO's The Last of Us does exactly that, a brilliant retelling of one of video games' most beloved stories that rebottles the lightning of what made it so special to many in the first place, letting it strike again to stunning effect. Thanks to a pair of phenomenal lead performances and a beautifully executed vision of what it is to find hope and love in a world hell-bent on denying it, The Last of Us thrills from the first episode to the last. The shape of the story will be familiar to any who have played the original game, but that's not to say you'll know exactly what's coming next, since deviations are frequently taken. A post-pandemic world where pockets of humanity aim to keep afloat amongst a sea of infection, it's a place brought to stark realisation by showrunner Craig Mazin, aided by the creator of the Last of Us video game, Neil Druckmann. The setup for the plot circles around Joel, a smuggler tasked with couriering a teenage girl west in an America ravaged by a deadly fungal pandemic for the past 20 years. Of course, things don't go smoothly as danger lurks around every corner in both human and post-human forms, ready to break their ever-tightening bond. Ellie, who could easily have been reduced to a plot device, is the charismatic heartbeat of the show, simultaneously reminding Joel of what he's lost and filling him with a sense of purpose not felt since his darkest day. Bella Ramsey is simply electrifying as Ellie, effortlessly shifting between delicate vulnerability, youthful excitement, and determined power. She's a true revelation and deserves all the credit in the world for making her mark on a character whose previous interpretation has been so firmly ingrained in people's minds. She's dynamite from the offset, but Ramsey goes from strength to strength in step with Joel and Ellie's relationship as the season progresses.
I'm not family.
No. Your cargo.
Pedro Pascal, meanwhile, brilliantly steps into the well-worn shoes of Joel Miller, southern fried drawl and all, carrying himself in a convincingly experienced and world-weary way. He's often brooding and quiet, acting as a foil to Ellie's infectious energy, and able to powerfully express deep emotion through a single look of his eyes. Solid performances flank the pair as characters weave in and out of Joel and Ellie's journey. These include Anna Torv as the steely Tess, Gabrielle Luna as Joel's estranged brother Tommy, and Lamar Johnson as the layered and compassionate Henry. Special mention though has to go out to Nick Offerman and Murray Bartlett, who are unforgettable as the melancholic Bill and Frank respectively. Season 1 packs a lot into its 9 episodes, which can leave it feeling slightly rushed on occasion as it hurtles towards its ending. It's still a conclusion that packs the gut punch it needs to though, and one that's ultimately earned. The show is at its best when allowing itself room to breathe, and it's in these pockets that The Last of Us often shines brightest. Yes, seeing recreations of pivotal scenes from the game brought to life offers its own sort of thrill, but it's most exciting when exploring less trod paths, a case best exemplified by the arrival of Nick Offerman's Bill. He's a character given incredible new depth as one handwritten note from the game is expanded into the season's best hour of television. A heartbreaking account of love being found in a world that all too often tears it apart, it's a special story elegantly brought to life through tender performances. It explores themes mirrored through Ellie's eyes in another later standout episode, and is testament to how love between two people, no matter who they are or who they choose to share it with, perseveres even when the world and bodies physically channeling it fade. It's a credit to the show's creators that 2 hallmark episodes push queer relationships so firmly to the forefront, when it would have been so easy to sneak them in as a footnote. They're presented without judgment and with complete celebration. In a post-apocalyptic vacuum that denies any air of happiness to thrive, these rare sparks of life are all the more important and impactful, like fireflies illuminating an abandoned glass jar. Visually, The Last of Us is often a sight to behold, even when the camera is pointed at firmly ugly subjects. Details like old paint scabbing over walls and fungal veins crawling across floors sweep convincingly through most buildings. Vast landscapes paint pictures of classic westerns, especially as the seasons change and snow carpets the ground. But while The Last of Us is a great looking show, it's in its audio that it particularly excels. Distant cries and nearby clicks often echo scarily through scenes in a world so quiet that any sound can be alarming, and sections of the game's iconic soundtrack sing in harmony with original pieces that pulse and drive their way through some of the more action-heavy moments. There's barely a still camera shot throughout, tying thematically into the always on the move nature of the story as we dart from place to place across America. There's no glamorous Hollywood choreography, nor any feats of superheroics. While there are some standout moments of combat, in truth, The Last of Us is more interested in showing the fallout of violence than the violence itself, letting the echo of each gunshot ring out long before the next is fired. Action is used sparingly, but to often shocking effect, as are appearances of the infected. Close-ups of the infected and their new fibrous biology are quite frankly disgusting, as fuzzy tendrils crawl out of their mouths like nested xenomorphs. In the game, the presence of the infected is mainly felt through gameplay and combat encounters. As the show isn't relying on giving a player something to constantly do with their hands, it chooses to instead focus on the human stories existing in this world, and does so to great effect. That being said, I couldn't help but wish for just 1 or 2 more clicker appearances over the course of the 9 episodes, as we sometimes go through stretches of multiple installments without a sighting of the terror they can bring. On the whole, the plot doesn't waver too far from its source material, but does occasionally stray from the path in order to shine a light on previously unexplored corners of its world. You really get a sense that Druckmann is relishing revisiting his story, and adding in sections that just wouldn't have made sense to have in the game. It also takes time to explore themes shared with Mazin's previous work on Chernobyl, primarily the valiant fight of working class people against hopelessness and the failures of government. There's a real sense of a creative partnership working at the peak of its power here, as old and new ideas blend and ultimately triumph. HBO's The Last of Us is a breathtaking adaptation of one of the most impactful stories told in video games, and brilliantly brings Joel and Ellie's journey to a whole new audience. Taking the essence of what made the original tale so enduring, it builds out the world of the game while also switching up some aspects to almost entirely stunning effect. Anchored by 2 outstanding lead performances from Bella Ramsey and Pedro Pascal, it delivers an enriching show for fans of the PlayStation hit, while also managing to stay welcomely thrilling to newcomers.
Huh.
For more from the show, why not check out the latest trailer, and for everything else on The Last of Us, stick with IGN.
To be honest, bro, I just really hope that this, I don't know, man. I just really hope that this show is really good, man. I haven't played the game at all. I really want to play the game, but I've seen most of the gameplay of it. So I just, just based on the gameplay and based on the footage that I've seen of the show, bro, I just hope that they do the game justice, and I hope that they, I don't know, bro, I just hope that they do the game, like, a really good adaptation of it, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want them to be, like, far out from the fucking game that it's not even recognizable, you know what I mean? Anyways, man, if you guys like my reaction, give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace out, motherfuckers.